Anna says, I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. So funny for someone to witness the trans moral panic that calls for our eradication in public, says Juniper, the banning of trans medical care in multiple states, yet decide to make everything about how the 14 lived up academics who use these silly phrases bother you so much. I, of course, agree with Juniper on this. Anna isn't wrong. This stuff is like stupid and no one uses it. It's like the Latinx thing over and over and over again. No attention should be paid to that. No attention should be paid to this. And I know that a lot of people will turn around and say, Hassan, you're wrong as well. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. For those of you who do want to fucking have this debate over and over again, you're behaving in a way that is as unproductive as Anna Kasparian, but maybe from ostensibly leftist side. That's it. As a person in medical school right now, you would be surprised by how much I hear this usage here, and it's probably more applicable, and I still think it's a distraction from giving the same folks good quality healthcare. Yeah, it's just so irrelevant. People that get super mad at this and use this as an additional justification are transphobic. The transphobic people will use things like, oh, people want to call all women person with a uterus or whatever the fuck. People want to call cis women person with a uterus. Like, they're the ones who are looking for further justification to moralize their transphobia. Making any note of that and lending any credence to that argument as though it's like super serious is silly in my opinion. And I think it's just for farming Twitter likes. That's it. Colloquially speaking, when we're outside of academia, when we're outside of hyper-specific medicine, no one is using this shit. The other thing is, like, I've never actually fucking seen, like, someone in the real world ever be like, oh, please, call me Latinx or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That's not a thing. Like, most people in the real world are not so permanently fucking brain broken, right? AOC used it. Yeah, no shit, she used it because she's a politician. I've had this conversation so many times over. It's just silly. It's silly. The BIPOC distinction. Like, POC is not enough. There needs to be a separate removal to show additional harm that was done to indigenous communities and black communities. Like, I get the energy. I understand where it's coming from. Colloquially speaking, it is completely irrelevant. People are not using it. And I'm never going to push for people to fucking make this distinction because everyone gets completely fucking bottlenecked at the aesthetics of the subject matter. Just advocate for the things you believe in instead of hyper focusing on idiotic aesthetics. It's just a byproduct of liberalism. It's probably the most annoying part of liberalism, honestly. I do think that Juniper is correct in this regard, which is that, there's so much anti-trans legislation. There's so much anti-trans moral panic. There's so much anger towards the trans community for simply existing right now, and there's material harm being done to the trans community. The notion that, like, the main takeaway from this has to be, fucking silly phrases is very self-involved, even if it is correct. Like, even if Anna's perspective on the matter is correct, it's one that doesn't need to be a boundary that you're setting on the fucking ground because it's completely irrelevant. Now, having said that, is Anna an ally to the trans cause? As far as I know, what I remember at least, yeah, she is. Will she get extra upset because she did this and got a lot of likes, and then people will then attack her like crazy, and then this will further solidify her position? I also think yes. Just got to keep your precious little edgy line so you can separate. It's just brand building. So depressing people you respect turn into bait-devouring hogs at the drop of a hat. But yeah, but like they didn't ask Anna if she was a woman at the doctor, though. That's like way worse. I don't think you're wrong. I think she is brand building a little bit here. I just don't want to lend any credence to right-wing shitheads. That's my take on it. This is not important. It's completely unimportant. I do think it's helpful as a birth worker to use gender-neutral language because medical settings are often unsafe and unsupportive of trans existence. It's not about pandering or virtue signaling, but letting potential clients know I'm a safe provider. Sure. I mean, that's why I said it's like relegated to very hyper-specific medicine. But also, like, guys. This is an even more hyper-specific marginal issue overall. It's a hyper-specific marginal issue, so much so that Juniper is even making fun of it, right? Especially because every now and then there is another like Daily Mail article where it'll be like, trans man and trans woman give birth together to a baby. And then they'll like talk about it and then it'll be like rage bait. And I'm like, dude, there's like 8 people that have done this. Why is there media coverage on this? The fuck do you mean? Like, who cares? Why? Like, it's not destroying Western civilization through, moral degeneracy. It's not morally degenerate at all, obviously. But it's also not like, the pivotal achievement, the crowning achievement of trans existence, defending trans rights either. It's just rage bait, crafted and concocted by reactionary TERFs, reactionary transphobes, they're not even fucking TERFs. And then oftentimes promoted by well-intentioned leftists who are like, no, this is actually the fucking hill. This is the only hill. Everybody engages in the same unproductive cycles of manufactured outrage from their own perspective over and over again, and we accumulate likes in the process, and everyone is fucking yelling at one another. Meanwhile, the reactionaries are winning the fight against one of the more marginalized communities in this country by way of state legislatures. It's just noise. I hate it. For the record, do I think Anna is a transphobic? No. Do I think that Anna Kasparian is going to stop defending trans rights? I don't think so. But I also don't believe that she needs to post this as though this is like a fucking, big deal. I hope I'm not wrong.